It's also known as Lost Spheres.
And today we have an interview that I am super pumped for.
So
We are
excited.
with Adrian here from Puppetswar. Hello, Adrian.
Hello, everyone.
So, Adrian, Puppetswar kind of exploded on the 3D printing scene in a hurry and in a big way. Can you give us the 30-second elevator pitch version of what Puppetswar is and what you all do?
We make cool miniatures, and we make cool miniatures for about. Mm, I'm not prepared totally up for it. Uh, about 13 years. Uh,
Wow.
so we are making miniatures, and now we started to make them in as files.
Hmm.
And that kind of leads me into what I really want to know is like, could you tell us about how you got started into gaming and then got into Puppets War and what that's been like? Because you're one of the companies that you've been here a while and you've made the jump early. Whereas I say early because I'm expecting eventually everybody's going to have to play in this space a little bit.
Uh, yeah. So my personal history.
Mhm.
A while back, when I had about, I don't know, 15 years. Uh, I saw Warhammer figures in my cousin's collection, so I immediately was drawn into it. And for a while, it was something like I was just looking from behind, but uh, finally kick off with I think Lord of the Rings. When
Okay.
in Poland we have, I think, everywhere there was some Lord of the Rings magazine,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and uh, in Poland all Warhammer was extremely expensive, and this was first time that I feel that I can manage it and jump into it. Throw all my savings into it and finally have uh, been able to play war game for my own. So this was a start for me, and I play with my friend uh, sometime, and from that I think it's natural to jump on other things. Firstly, like before, just looking in, but when I saw Warhammer 40k, it was when I saw all the rule set, how it expanded from Lord of the Rings, very simple idea of moving pieces and who will who will have a bigger dice result to 40k in third edition. It was something.
So was it just the rules that attracted you to 40K, or was it like something about the art or the style of the game that brought you
Uh,
over?
when I go to a club, people play 40k or fantasy, and
Hmm.
when we have mostly Lord of the Rings, fantasy, Warhammer, and 40k. 40k was for me obvious pick. So I look into this and have a blast with it for some time.
Is that your main game now?
No, no, not actually.
Ooh.
I jumped from a lot of games later, but 40k static and all this grim style. It's always something that I have placed in my heart.
Mhm.
So, did you start modifying minis? Like, how did you get into the artistic side of engaging the miniatures and sculpting or all that?
I think right away, just from the start, just from Lord of the Rings, even I reckon even before Lord of the Rings, I managed to buy one box of I think Chaos Warriors for fantasy,
Hmm.
and it was it was strange, but because mm, it uh, it was pretty significant when I think now about this. Uh, it was expensive, and
Yeah.
there was about I don't know 10 figures, 12 maybe, something like this, and I cut them all. I made one cool guy from it.
Just one out of the whole kit?
Yeah, yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
wow.
I have a plan for three guys, but
Hmm.
one I finished.
And then you
So
just kit bashed them, like modified them, and that's why you only ended up with one, or did
yeah,
you like?
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. So I make dynamic balls and all that stuff. So it was fun for me from the start. I do not wreck so much Lord of the Ring because I plan to play it.
Hmm.
So I couldn't afford to just destroy miniatures like that. Uh,
Yeah. And
but
look,
in 40K, I totally don't have money for it. So from a get go, I start kit bashing and making miniatures from scratch or from some other kits on some parts I buy from my friends.
Mhm.
So just from the start, I make miniatures.
If you made a dynamic pose from those old that old Chaos Warrior kit, like I'm super impressed because they are like the definition of we barely fit in this square, and we are going to have one fist with an axe and one fist with something else, and we are barely going to move. It's like, how
Yeah,
did you like? You made it like dynamic.
kind of. It was start for me. Uh,
Nice.
uh, I when I saw the pictures of this set, I was hey, it was great. I want it, but when I get the miniatures, I assembled. I think first or two guys. I think I look at it and I think I don't like it, so I
Yeah.
just destroyed them.
Did you
Nice.
use green stuff or milliput, or what did you use to
uh,
sculpt them with back then?
I don't afford green stuff that
Oh wow.
in those days, so it was experimenting with a lot of stuff.
And you said that the Warhammer 40K at the time was much more expensive to play that than it was to play Lord of the Rings.
No, Lord of the Rings also was expensive, but the
Mm-hmm.
uh, magazines make this price a lot lower, so it
So
could
the
work like that.
so the rules content
Oh.
was in the magazines, and you could play the game from that, as opposed to having to buy the 40K box sets. Is that what you're saying?
Rules and miniatures was there,
Oh,
and
it's like
miniatures was half of price if I remember correctly. So thanks to that, the week that they put their plastic infantry, uh, I was uh, I was jumping from one shop to another to buy as many infantry as possible. So
so it's
fun
like
time.
the new Imperium magazine that they're putting out right now, where you get like a Space Marine or a small squad of Necrons or something in each issue.
Yeah, maybe something like this. I did not see in did not have in my hands this new magazine, but maybe
Mhm.
it's something like that.
Awesome. All right, so you're a gamer. You saw that 40K is awesome. How does that lead to I'm professionally in games?
Uh, when I showed my club and people see that I kid bash and do something like this, and as you as you can imagine, I didn't have a lot of money to be in a hobby. Uh, my friends wanted some commission like for demon or some cool character. and I jump into it. It was fun. So uh, from this, when I start going to events and play on tournaments, people saw it, and more people saw it. I have more commissions, and to the point that we start a company.
Nice. All right. So that
And
was
that-
about
go
13
ahead.
years ago then, right? That's what you said?
Yep,
Oh.
something like this. I started playing in high school,
Mm-hmm.
playing Lord of the Rings, and I think on the first year of college, I stumbled to 40K, and from that it was pretty fast. Before I graduate, how you say it? I finished my college. I was already making miniatures for Puppetswar.
Nice.
And did you start resin right away then, or how did you start your physical production for those minis?
Uh, I'm totally not into production, so yeah, it was resin, but I'm not doing it on my own.
Right.
I was approached by Arthur, the company owner, that saw my works for other gamers, and he took me in. He approached me and make me an offer that we can try to make miniatures together. And he's running company, and mm, he's the head of all production.
Right. Okay.
So you're the primary sculptor for Puppetswar right now?
Yep. I design all the stuff that we produce go through me. So uh, I make I think most of the stuff myself and design, and there's one guy that work with me, and so our me and him is it's all that we walk in ZBrush for now.
Nice. So when you got into 40K, what was your favorite faction? Like, what was the army you built first?
I could not decide, but Space Marines, lots of Space Marines. I
Okay.
started with Black Templars, I think,
Mm-hmm.
but I was jumping from faction to faction just from the start. So uh, it's so cool. Everyone have something great. Even now there is pretty big tournament in the works in Poland
Mm-hmm.
to uh, for fourth edition
Mhm.
Okay. Wow. Retro
to
tournament.
the retro tournament to take all the guys that played that in that time. And I was thinking about this recently. What do I want to play? And I reckon that for in that time I have my eye on everything. So uh, it's not that easy to answer.
So on the retro tournaments like that, do they allow like any source? Like, can you use later edition models? Can you use 3D printed models?
Yeah, I
Or
think sources it's not the problem. Problem will be to remember the rules and getting guys together. So even if somebody came with I don't know just bases, will be great. Great to
just
see that guy.
bases?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sharpie on this is Terminator.
I think the American scene could use a little injection of that myself.
Yeah, I don't think somebody would do that, but uh, if I see it correctly, it's mostly to hang out
Mhm.
and remember all that time.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
So, when you were first getting commission work, what was it like seeing when other people were like, "We need your stuff," and you're seeing other people play with pieces that you designed and you made for them?
Yeah, it was great. That's why I mm, put aside all my other plans for myself, because this was so much fun. And when at start, it wasn't uh, that I don't have a word. Uh, it wasn't very mm, easy, but it finally convinced me to try to make it a career, something like this. And here we are.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely glad you made it a career, cause like looking at your stuff that you're producing today, it's just incredible. Like the quality, the dynamics, the artistry. It's some of the best miniatures on the market right now.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, the initial pose I think at launch was that striker, right? That striker landing like in that
Yeah,
crater.
yeah.
And just right there, the energy was like boom, like, and I suddenly was like, this is something to watch. And then your first, I think, Striker Squad came out, and it's just like, wow, they're so animate. Because normally it's like you're talking about, like, Perrin mentioned they'd barely even fit on the base, and they're all blocky. I remember old Space Marines, like, they were like wedged shoulder to shoulder if you had a like tray or whatever. But like your squad just looks so animate, and then you released all the bits, and yeah, crazy. Yes, that's the one. That's um, just so living and cool. I love it.
So can you
Yeah,
go?
that's the purpose of our work, to make something that strike that feelings, to make something cool.
So let's go into a little bit of you. You do have this very distinct art style across your whole line. I feel. Could you tell us a little bit about what makes your style and how you wanted things to appear?
Um, I I don't know how to answer it, actually. I just try to make something that looks cool. That's the primary goal. When I have a idea of something, I try to make a piece that will be something new on, because there's a lot of miniatures, and my idea to make something that it's not uh, something like you see anywhere else. So this is the one, and the second is it need to be cool. If it's not, it's bland. Why to do it? And better jump on something else.
Well, in those early days of Puppetswar, before you guys got into 3D printing, I'm saying early days. That's like 12 years worth of company. So what was Puppetswar mainly in the business of making at that time?
Uh, can you repeat the
All
question?
right.
Because
In the early days of Puppetswar, in the first part of the company, like what were you all mostly making and selling at that time?
uh, I think conversion bits was right from the start, because we were actively, me and Arthur was actively
Mm-hmm.
playing 40k, and we there was a time when there wasn't mm, there was a demand for something like this, because it's not like today that there's a lot of miniatures, and people wanted their army to distinct, and they wanted to have some special head for its force and stuff. So we make heads for miniatures. I think this, and also when I think about it now, my first model for Arthur, of one of the first, because first was some heads, was a demon. Uh, I even have it here. I can send you. Uh, so, and he's still in the shop to buy. So uh,
Oh my goodness. Okay.
this one is I on this one I was learning to sculpt promptly, like for production.
So you've got this big old fat like demon. It kind of looks like what would happen if a zombie bit Jabba the Hutt, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was super happy about it.
yeah,
That's
It's
cool.
nice. I like this thing.
yeah.
I like. He's so
And-
jolly. He's so happy to be so evil.
And I could not resist to make a conversion of him, and I send you this next one.
Please tell me it has a zombie slave girl in it.
Oh
Not
my
yet.
gosh! No, it's better. It's so
It's
much
better?
better.
It's better?
So
Okay.
much better. Okay.
I wanna see it.
I am so sorry for our audience audio listeners on this, but when you we will put a link to this in the show notes for you all to be able to watch it. But it's the very happy zombie Jabba kind of look with a top hat and a cane and a swank coat and a cigarette holder. I
See,
love
now,
this thing
now
so
I want to
much.
make that a.
You're my
a-
favorite sculptor now, Adrian.
I want that to be like a demon in one of my planar cities in one of my D&D games.
Oh
now.
my gosh, that is the best. That's so wonderful.
That's
Yeah, it's gosh, such a fun personality added to that model. So, how long ago was this when you made this?
I think when we started, so 2010, I think 2009 maybe.
Wow. So even back then, you were top of your class with sculpting, because that is some detailed work. And
it's
you
really cool.
did it in green stuff then, so you could finally afford
Yeah.
green stuff.
All in green stuff, yeah. Inside it's not green stuff because it was expensive still.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And then once you're curing those, you're just doing for production, doing a resin mold around it, or mold for resin pour after that? Or is that how that went? Or did you get injection molding?
No, from the start, Arthur made those miniatures in resin, and it was vacuum pressure.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
So
Oh yeah, silicone molds and
Exactly.
resin and that's such a. I'm just now starting to dabble with doing that right now because I'm wanting to make some custom dice for a project I'm working on, and that
Yeah,
is so much fun, but messy.
messy, exactly. Exactly, messy. We started with this technology and stick with it because it gives us the best detail
Mm-hmm.
still. So we're making stuff with resin.
Cool.
And you've been really tapped into what the community wants with your conversion bits. You guys have been around for a long time. Why did you all decide to take the leap from just doing physical production to becoming a STL provider, a digital printable miniatures company?
The industry goes in this direction, and for a few years we already I'm sculpting 100% in ZBrush now in computer.
Mm-hmm.
So we already have the files, and when the printers started to be accessible, it it was, I think, natural progression for the whole miniatures industry. So here we are.
Yeah, I can see that. Like I'm looking at some of your mech warrior heads. That first glorious. I'm gonna have to buy some of these, and they're in like even the renders on your website are starting to be are fully in 3D. So you made this in ZBrush for physical production long before you all wanted to do digital distribution of the files, right?
Yep.
So when you did your launch, what caused you to pick your initial factions? Because you've got 3 right now, right?
Yeah, but now we have 3 factions that we are committed to expand and give them all love we can. But at the start, I personally have maybe some different idea how it will go. We're still pretty small operation, but as I said previously, just two guys sculpting. And when I see those big patron sites that produce a lot of stuff every month, I figured that we will have shop still a primary thing for us, and I cannot abandon it.
Right.
And we'll have pretty small Patreon with few miniatures every month, but a lot of people jump on it, and it expanded
Right.
very much.
Right.
So
It was late last year when you all started, and like I've heard your name before because I've seen your bits before. I've heard Scott talk about it on the Trapped in Your Plastic podcast several times, Puppet Word bits. And so seeing your name as a 3D company got me excited. And then you've blown up. Like you've got 1,400 patron subscribers right now, which is putting you in the top half of the pack for sure. And your content is, you said you only have 2 sculptors, but you're putting out like a lot of content every single month.
I was about to say your modular kits make your offerings a lot more than I think you give yourself credit for, because they're so adaptable and so.
Yeah, but that whole idea about modularity is the backbone of our company from the start. I figured that making modular pieces and figuring them well, it took us a few years to finally figure out where to make these pieces connect, and what it gives us, when to say stop to it, and when to allow it. This is thanks to this, we are able to make something that looks like a lot of miniatures, but those by making new head for a miniature, you have totally new miniature just for it. So for me, it's pretty important as well to make people able to customize those miniatures and make the forces or just display pieces exactly how they want it.
Right. Like I was going to bring up your you seem to have kept the commitment to awesome bits even as you've transitioned over to a digital, and it means that I can make lots of different looks because every single release pack gives me so many more tools, even if I don't want to make like what the kit makes by itself. For instance, you've got these cool new ninja space knights that are in this month's pack that look awesome, but those hooded heads can absolutely, I'm absolutely going to steal some of those hooded heads to not make ninjas, but to make some gloomy night themed space knights. I'm being very careful with what the words I'm saying right now. So I can make some very themed models that have nothing to do with ninjas, because I can combine this with the pieces you've released before, and hopefully with new pieces you all release later.
That's the idea, to make everything interchangeable and allow people to decide what they want, because I don't have all the answers, but sometimes you want something, some head or some pad from a few months previous, and make something cool with it. We have few renders of that kind of mixes. I can try to find it
Right
for you.
Yeah, you showed off a bunch when I don't know if it was last month, no, month before, when the bikes came out, and you showed a bunch of mixed up renders with what they could do with the previous months.
Yeah, we try to yeah, exactly, to show a glimpse of possibilities, because there's a lot.
Right.
And
Like,
even I cannot comprehend all those pieces.
Right. And it's so that kind of was like what sold me on keeping this Patreon going forever. Was when I saw that you released the Viking bikes, and then how easily and quickly it became, but it can also be samurai bikes, or not, or just generic space knights, or you can put an orc on it. And I was like, yes, this is exactly what I want. I love modularity. I love customizability. And you all seem to just like absolutely love that too. You must hate like the new trend to like purely monopose builds that's happening in a lot of models lately.
Not exactly. I like it as well, because monopose gives also a chance to make cool pose, because modularity is cool, but it also have some drawbacks. So we can try to make everything work together, but when you want to do a cool pose for a march, we make a sneaky bug, you can see, and I dropped idea of modularity with him, because I figured the cool pose would be the best approach. I could not achieve something like this with posable arms and head.
Yeah. If you did, it would have been a nightmare of like a billion ball sockets, and I would have hated trying to put it together.
Yeah, exactly. So it needs to be balanced. For a hero or something like this, I think making one pose, it's a good approach. But if you want to make so bigger force, or enable people to choose their style, as I said, I don't have all the answers, and everybody can. It was important for me to have a force for war game that is only that I have, and I try to give everybody this option to pick every single bit and have something that you like.
Awesome.
So, Bushy Orcs. How did that happen? Because, man, people are super excited by them. And that kind of didn't strike me as a typical faction, but I think it's hugely popular, obviously, with your folks.
It's like mixing two cool ideas into one. And, it's at start of Patreon, we made, as I said, few miniatures in Bushy style, because we already knew from the web shop that that Bushy style is something that people like. Uh, it's, a lot of people like it, so we
Mhm.
made our first month with all Bushy team, and the orc guy there was fan favorite, so we expanded, and as the Patreon evolves, uh, I don't have all the roadmap. I try
Mhm.
to listen to feedback, and as I said, I have different idea of what we will do, but this was the demand. People wanted this modularity from that from our shop, uh, and I do my best to answer it.
So you're definitely like a fan service first kind of company, like give the people what they want, right?
The first one, I don't know. I think everybody tries, and we try our best too.
Well, you gave me alien bugs, so I was very, very happy about that because
Mhm.
back in the day, one of my first armies I ever did was a hive army of that other company stuff, and I had to sell it because times got tough, and so I've always kind of had the back of my head that I wanted to redo that, and when I saw yours, I was just like, oh, I can totally rebuild my old. So I'm hoping we'll see some more of that, but obviously, you know it seems to be popular. You'd have to tell me whether or not we're going to see any more of it.
Yeah, all those three factions that we started expanding from the start. So strikers, bugs, and orcs.
Mhm.
As I said, we are committed to expand it. But as you saw, it's not only Bushy style. We will make a lot of different styles, but mm, to make able to mix it uh, and make a lot of it. But we'll also jump on something more, I think, in the future.
Mm.
Well, I know you have your poll up right now, and if you're joining the Patreon right now for March, you can select, right. There's a poll for it. Um, can you explain to me what the mech? It's like manga mech or something. There's what
Manga
is that?
bots.
Oh,
Yeah, what is that going to be about? If because it seems to be winning right now, so I'm
I'm
curious.
rooting
Yeah.
for it.
You are rooting for it.
Yes.
You know
Uh,
what I want. You know what I want.
I know what you
Apparently.
want. I'm sorry, but I kind of want to see their take because like your Space Knights have this cool cybernetic like vicious modern style that I'm kind of digging, and I've seen those mecha heads that makes me want to absolutely go up against Charian's Noble, and so I want to see what your mecha bots look like for sure.
uh, I want to see it as well. We'll see,
Yep.
because I don't make a lot of people wanted to see some sketches, something like this. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't work like that.
Mm.
I just jump on an idea and see where it leads me.
Go straight
So
into the sculpting.
yep,
Cool.
yep. So when I have some vague ideas how I want to approach idea like that, but uh, it will appear when I start sculpting. So we'll see where it get get us.
So, what is your style like? Your process like when you start? Like, what? How? When I'm going to make some models. So, Where does it start?
Let's start with what I if I for cool idea.
Hmm.
First, we need the topic, so we need some model that we want to make, and
Hmm.
then try to make it cool, as I said previously. Make it cool, make it something different, and wrapping my head up around it, and after a few hours of looking at monitor, magically appears.
Magically.
So,
It
Oh wow! Just
magically happens.
I wish my art could work like that. So you do primarily ZBrush, right?
yeah, only ZBrush now.
Okay. And like, and you said you don't do reference sketches, so you just like open up ZBrush and go.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I think one of the most important thing for
Hmm.
making a model like this, it's to figure out basic shapes and proportions, and when it goes when it works, uh, next important thing is, I think, face. So faces are pretty important, because even the rest of the model might be clunky or something like this, but if you had nice helmet or nice face, uh, it works. uh, that's why, uh, when you get heads from us, your models will be great, so that's the idea, and that's what that works.
About how much of the work you think, percentage wise, is spent on the head? Because I've seen other 3D artists say as much as half of the total time spent on the model is spent on the head.
It's difficult to understand, because I work on a model for as long as it need to. If something not working, I leave the project for some time, getting back to it, and everything need to work together. So I don't know. Also, if we make bits, for me now it's just making a head, and I already have a new model. So 100%. Uh,
So when you're doing your bit kits, do you like take an original model that you've sculpted up and chop it, or do you just go, okay, I'm going to start because I know my head joint is this wide, and then I'm just going to like go from there and just make a head, and then go on to make another head, and or is
uh,
it
yeah, we have. I have already this shapes that work together,
Hmm.
and I know where my limitations are, because uh, this modularity is cool, but I'm still. It have a strength, so long hair, something like this, or I need to remember where the armor is wrapping, so I cannot make horns too big or stuff. So, and that's why these character models and this monopose guys, it's also important to make your nice miniature. So uh, it's finding a balance, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Well, you've got a lot of experience in traditional sculpting too, by the looks of the really cool demon dude in the top hat. Uh,
His
how
really
is
cool demon guy. Think about that. Just imagine a whole faction of really cool demon guys. Just saying.
That's an interesting idea, I think.
I
all with
like that
top
idea a
hats?
lot. I can only
All
vote
with top
once.
hats. You have traditional sculpting background, and you've moved on to digital sculpting. Like, how do those two things differ? Do you prefer in the digital world? How much
uh,
is undo worth?
it's cool, but I can share anecdote.
Awesome.
I'm from art background.
Mhm.
I went to art high school and art college, and I choose sculpture as my main focus, because then I figured that it's the only art form that won't be affected uh, by technology. That I will do it with my hands, and here we are.
Yes.
Well, have you tried VR sculpting yet?
What's
Virtual
sculpting?
reality sculpting?
No, and I I'm not into it at the moment. Mm, I'm not looking forward to it. Uh,
I was just like,
maybe,
you get your hands back then.
yeah, maybe. Uh, I'm not. Technology is not my thing. Not my thing. But ZBrush gives so much more possibilities, and I can make much more figures much faster and cooler, better detail. That it's great. For many years, I was looking at the industry. mm, and still working in green stuff because I don't like computers. I don't like looking at monitor back then. But it turns that this software is made for it, and it was pretty easy transition. It was striking for me that after, I don't know, about a month, uh, trying to figure it out and working with it, I was already have some products. So it's pretty fun, and it turned out fun, and it's a lesson for me also that to try new things.
And honestly, I'm actually surprised to hear that ZBrush is what you worked on. I would have put my money on Blender, seeing a lot of your work because of how many hard surfaces there are. So, what is it like doing hard surfaces in ZBrush for you?
I'm still working like before, like with
Mhm.
green stuff, like with clay. So it looks hard surface, but no, it's not.
You are sculpting those panels with clay brushes? Oh my gosh, mad respect.
Wow,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
that's some hard edges to do that. That's cool.
zebras also have this cut tools and
Mhm.
symmetry. So it's not like I sculpt all the model from feet to head, just claying. It also have some build options, uh, as I think about it. But everyone, it's like just sculpting it. It's my process. So. Uh,
Well, speaking of the results, multiple videos have recently come out featuring your work with titles like "Such and Such Gigantic Company in the Industry No Longer Makes the Best Models," and then they show your work on screen. How does that make you feel?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
Yeah, it's fun, but I see industry, and there's a lot of cool things popping out everywhere now. So hearing something like this, it's great. Uh, I like my models too, so I try to make models I always want to see on a table, and by all those years and fact that we have a company producing
mhm.
it shows that I'm not the only one that likes them.
I usually like to ask, and I'm going to do it here too, about what you think like the future of our hobby is going to be now that we have this big change. Now you've already admitted you haven't had a good prediction track record with your studies choice. So we're going to give you a
No,
little bit of
I'm
leeway
still
here.
sculpting, so
Right.
it's with that on.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
That whole dodging technology part, not so much though.
So what do you think? Like, the 3D printers are hitting the scene. They're getting more common. They're getting more fast. What do you think 10 years in the future looks like for the miniature hobby?
uh, Not a clue. It's shifting so rapidly now. uh, Not idea. I hope it opens to more people. To more people
Mhm.
can enjoy this hobby because it's a great hobby, and by 3D printing and making this more accessible, I think more people will have fun with games, with not only war games, with board games, with enjoying miniatures, with making dioramas. 3D printing is something
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. I mean, there's a particular thrill I get when I design something in digital software, or I sculpt a model from scratch, and then that very night I'm holding it in my hands. So I love this technology for that. I mean, how long have you all been working with 3D printers? Because I imagine like you all were using ZBrush long before you were an STL company, right? So you probably have been playing with these toys long before any of us got our hands on them.
Yeah. And we as a company, we don't for a very long time don't own any, because it was so expensive to make print with good quality that will work as a even base for prototype. It
Right.
was extremely expensive. So we just commissioned prints, and then and even now, uh, after the print got made, it still needed work. So we transitioned like a hybrid. So for some time we just make little pieces because it was cheaper, and then make models from it. Uh, and now we work only in 3D.
So, what kind of printers do y'all use right now in house to print your masters? Now that the tech's got good.
Good question.
Not your
Uh,
department, huh?
yeah, not my department. Also, I'm disconnected from it because I work from home, in totally different place that the company is based. So, company is based in Warsaw. I live in Poznań, and for all those time, I work from my home office.
Okay. Well, do you have a printer yourself?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
But we have. I don't like technology. It's a first, but we have many in the studio. So when I need the print, I just say the guys, please print me this, and I got it in the mail. So it's easy for
Nice.
me.
Yeah, that would be handy.
If I don't have that option, I will probably have 2 or 3 in my house.
So since you get to play with those and they could print them off for you, if you had complete freedom to pick your next faction, what would you pick?
It's like with this 40K stuff from before. I love all of them.
Aw.
I in every idea I thought something that I can jump into, and it will be hard. I did not mm, announce it on Patreon how I see the poll results for a next faction, but I think I can say it here because as I said previously, try to listen to feedback, and I make that poll to get insight what people want. And when I see this result, it shows that all the peaks have a lot of people that want them.
Right.
So it's not even one that it's low. And when I think about it now, and I've been mistaken before, so we'll see. But
Yeah.
Right.
I think that the cool way to approach it will be still committing to those 3 factions as we promised. And for a start, uh, make every month something for one of them.
Oh,
So for a few months, I will make figures for all those factions, and that way, after a few months, we will have these sketches that people wanted, and then we can see what another poll maybe, which one to explore more. So I think it's a pretty cool idea. Also, cool idea for me to being able
mhm.
to work on various things.
So I bet your personal armies look awesome. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So could you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about what some of your personal armies? Because I'm curious, like with as creative as you are, as awesome as these conversion bits that you've been making for over a decade are, what's some of your recent projects that you're really proud of for your personal armies?
Um, Now I'm playing in few things, but as a war game
Hmm.
that I'm my heads are thinking about this. It's a Song of Ice and Fire,
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
and I'm not extreme fan of the lore. I like it, but it's not. It's not science fiction robots.
Okay.
So I make a vampire army
Oh.
Okay.
because I cannot just take miniatures from the producer and play with them. I need to cut their heads and repurpose everything. So
Nice.
I have army that I really like. I have Lannister army that are vampires
I mean, some
with
would say
our
the
vampire
Lannisters
heads.
always were vampires, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So
Right. Right.
No, that's really cool. So what do you like about that game? Like what makes Song of Ice and Fire your game of the moment? Because it's not
um,
the lore,
me-
it sounds like.
mechanic, the idea of you play with it, or
I've
you
only
know
played a
something
demo
about it.
game. I've not played the full game.
I have never
Yeah.
played it.
My friends jump on it, and I saw it, and then I think, no, not for me. I passed it. But when I played it, it's immediately jumped for me to hype because it's pretty fun mechanic with elements from uh, mm, board game and
Hmm.
elements from that's something strategy Euro game and and a war game.
Hmm.
So we have you have mm, units on the table as usual, but also we have units that you can activate not on the table to
Oh, that's cool.
to make something extra actions, and it's a cool
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. They came up with an excuse to make Peter Dinklage sculptures that aren't used on the battlefield. Like since a lot of the fandom of that book series and show are like some of the players in the politic game, they made minis of those characters, and you get to get they do special bonuses and to you and your opponent's armies and stuff while they play the politics games
Yeah,
at the same time that you're fighting the war on the table. It's
yeah,
such a cool idea.
it's a cool idea, and it's pretty well executed,
Mhm.
if you ask me. It's pretty fun to play.
Mhm.
Recently there was a slight change with few cards, so we're again in a state that games it's I think the best state when the rules are new and everybody figuring out how to play it,
Mhm.
because few things are different, and it's fun.
Right.
It's
That's one
fun.
of the advantages of playing a game that's still being supported is that it's not solved. There's not
Yeah,
everybody doesn't know just the one true way to play it, and no, that's the only way to build this army and such.
yeah.
Do
It's
do your the people you play against, what do they think when you roll up with your Lannisters and they've all got fangs and
uh, mixed reactions, mostly positive.
yeah. No, I'd be blown away. I'm like, yeah, absolutely awesome. Oh, that's
It's
great.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any negative feedback. Like something, no one came and said I won't play with this or something like that. So it's cool, and it's fair if somebody say it, because I understand that if you're committed to it, you like it, and some guy just make vampire army, what? So I understand if somebody don't like it, it's cool.
I
Awesome.
mean, there's already undead there with the White Walkers, so like, really, can they get too mad about
Yeah,
vampires?
when I heard about this game, I said, if I want to play fantasy and we don't have, when I started, there wasn't dragons, there wasn't White Walkers, there was just historical game with politics. I think, why?
Why?
You know, but mechanic is great, and I find my way to make it fun for me
Yep.
by making those vampires. So I never played Warhammer Fantasy, and this is this is something like this for me. So why not vampires?
Well, we're coming up on time. Do you have anything you want to shout out to? Where can people follow you and your work? Is there anything you want to draw some more attention to?
Yeah, I think a shop. We are primarily a company that makes resin casts. So we are evolving with the whole industry to for STLs, but the shop is still our main thing, and we're still making new stuff for it. Also Patreon and digital models. It's a new thing for us, and we're doing our best to make it work. Mm, and yeah, this is us.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely go check out Puppetswar. You all also offer on your website, if people don't have a 3D printer, they can order prints of your digital stuff, and you all will send it to them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's we're most of our products are resin casts from the quality that we are used to, but it's a new branch, I can say, that we're making 3D prints. So yeah, this is it. Also, if we are wrapping up, I want to get shout out to chess set.
Oh, the
yeah.
chess set. Yeah, we
Mhm.
pause. We'll talk about that chess set. We should. I
Show it
totally
off.
should
Yeah,
have
sorry.
more.
Yeah, this was
Right.
something important for me to make it. I was thinking about it for, I think, a decade. I had it in my head, and now thanks to 3D printing, I was able to do it, because every time when I came up with this idea, there was a problem with technology to make it work, to make it happen, and now now as I was able to jump on it thanks to Patreon and make my dream chess set a reality. So
Yeah,
this is something.
you could tell there was a little love involved in this, because it didn't just come out. It came out with like this long, documented, real personal article about like why you wanted to make it and what you went through to do it, and it's really fascinating. It's got a video. It's great. is it too late? Like, I know this came out with one of the Patreons, so if you haven't gotten this on the Patreon, how do you get this chess set?
It's available on my mini factory on our our site there, and on our shop. For now, only as digital files, but we are working pretty hard to figure out the technology to make it in a as a physical chess set that we can offer. The quality is still the most important for me, because I don't want it to make it cheap or clunky. And when we figure it out, I don't know, maybe we will make a Kickstarter or something like this with this set, maybe with another designs of that kind of chess sets.
What were some of the problems y'all ran into in the past when you were trying to get this done?
It's not a miniature for war games. So when I think about chess, it's something that you can, I don't know, give it to your uncle or something like this, and if they don't know the miniatures, the idea, they just want a working chess set. So there cannot be some tiny details that could break and stuff. It needs to be solid and playable for years. And as you know, it's not with miniatures. Miniatures, you need to take care of them to make them work. So to make it good quality, to make it viable as a business, it's hard now for us. But we are working on it at the moment. So we're testing new materials and new casting technologies to make the whole set something that could be shown to people.
Awesome. Anything else people should follow you at, or anything else you want to draw attention to before we bounce out of here?
I don't have my own site or stuff for like artistic, because I'm Puppetswar. I'm working for Puppetswar, and if you want to see my stuff, just follow Puppetswar on Patreon, or we have a Facebook fan page and community, and our shop. This is where you can find my work.
Excellent. And if you want to follow our work, you can do so over at the printyourgames.com website, where you'll find all the links to the various services you can subscribe to this podcast to. You can also find us on youtube.com/Param, that's PERRAM, and over on Facebook at Print Your Games. Until next time, I'm Jefferson J. Thacker, also known as Param.
I'm Kristen Sowards, also known as Lost Spheres.
And Adrian, thank you all so much for joining us. It has been fun, and I hope to get to chat with you again sometime, and hope to print that chess set out for sure, because I've got a gamer that I know would appreciate it greatly, and no, there's nothing else like it.
Yeah, maybe we'll see you back with a Kickstarter for it or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. It was first experience as a podcast for me, and it was fun. Thank you very much.
And we'll see you all next time.
Bye-bye.